Alright everyone, welcome back again to some more Umineko. Just when I thought this game couldn't possibly delve worse into more murders, I don't know guys, it just did. It just did. Like, it's not even a spoiler anymore, we know it's gonna happen, and I'll let you guys see for yourselves because I am just so surprised at how well crafted or crafty this Beatrice is. But we're gonna continue on right now, guys, so I want to thank you all for the love and support, and let's just get right on to it. Alright everyone, and we are back.
ああ、そうだよ。この部屋からじいさまがいなくなったって話の時、俺が披露した説じゃねえか。じいさまが自分から出ていくという説。自分から出ていくような何かの細工を犯人がして、まんまと外へおびき出していたのだとしたら。
Come to think of it, even Maria had said it when we found the scorpion magic circle in the doorknob to the study. Beatrice couldn't get through this door, but she might be able to induce someone to leave of their own accord.
だとすると、私たちは犯人の罠に見事はまって、新しい生贄候補を送り出しちまったことになるぜ。
源氏たちもバカではありません。身を守ろうと思うなら、この部屋の次に安全な場所をすぐに思いつくでしょう。そこできっと身を潜めています。
Aunt Natsuhi hadn't answered the question. She herself realized that if the culprit wasn't in the group, that letter could easily have been a trap. However, it wasn't worth the risk of calling back the people she had once thrown out. To Aunt Natsuhi, right now her greatest and only duty was to protect the children. And to that end, she was thinking, a few sacrifices may be unfortunate necessity.
なあ、夏日おばさん、きついこと聞くぜ。もしあの時、たまたまジェシカもおばさんの後ろにいたなら、おばさんはこの部屋からジェシカも追い出してたかい？確かに残酷なところはあったかもしれない。でも、夏日おばさんは母として娘を守りきろうと思った。その責務から自分がやがては糾弾されることを覚悟で彼らを追放したんだ。俺は別にそれを責めてえわけじゃねえ。ただジェシカはいいお袋を持ったなってそう思ったのさ。
そうだね。夏日おばさんは朝からずっと続いているこんな事件の中でも冷静さを失わず、ずっとみんなを牽引してきてくれた。もしおばさんまで混乱していたら、僕たちは今頃全員犯人の手にかかっていたかもしれない。だから僕たちはおばさんに感謝しなくちゃいけないと思う。
ありがと
う。バトラたちの言いたいことは、マリアの母でもあってほしいって。私、マリアのことを実の妹みたいだとずっと思って可愛がってきた。なのにいろんなことがあって、ちょっと混乱しちゃって、ひどいことをたくさん言って傷つけてしまった。母さん、お願いだよ。
Honestly, you can't be blamed for that with the way Maria is acting. She is acting like a creepy little girl right now, and all the things that were hurled at her in terms of verbal abuse was unfortunately, it was unfortunately allowed because she's different, and it's a problem. And it doesn't help that she's acting in defense of Beatrice right now, who everyone believes, and I too, to an extent, that is causing the death of a lot of people in this household.
マリアも、みんなも一緒にいようよ。
I'm still waiting for her to revive because I want to see this finally.
私たちの中に犯人なんていなかったんだよ。この事件の犯人は魔女のベアトリーチェでいいじゃないか。だからもう疑い合うのはやめようよ。
Aunt Natsuhi closed her eyes for a short while. Was she coping with her throbbing headache again? Or was she thinking of something?
ジェシカは主人と結婚してから12年もかけてようやく授かった大切な娘です。私はジェシカを守るためならどのような鬼にでもなります。
That was some pretty strong language at the end there. She realized very well that these were only words, but even so, she was strongly resolved to protect her daughter, even if she had to become a demon. But that was because she was tormented by guilt. Today had been so long. So many things had happened in one day, and we had been put under such pressure. I wonder if we have the right to greet tomorrow the way we are now. There it is.
見つけた。この魔法陣だ。
Within the books I had been constantly flipping through, I had finally found the same magic circle that had been drawn on the second sheet of the letter. George Aniki peered at it as well. This magic circle's name was the Third Magic Circle of Mars. The Hebrew written on it was from the Old Testament's book of Psalms, Psalm 77 verse 13. What God is so great is our God. The meaning of the magic circle was discord. It agitates internal divisions and causes the enemy to bring about their own downfall, which pretty much is exactly what happened. The whole team separated because Nazi kicked out the servants.
おいおい。
It's close to home, huh?
マジかよ。
Could there be more fitting way to describe our current situation and mental state? We couldn't help but be stunned into silence.
じゃあこの手紙は罠だってのかよ。どうやってここに置いたんだよ。この部屋には私たち8人以外には誰もいなかったんだぜ。
とにかくどうやってここに置いたのか、その方法は捨ておくぜ。とにかく犯人の狙いはたった一つ。この鉄壁の書斎に疑心暗鬼を引き起こして生贄の羊を俺たちの手で外へ放り出させることだったんだ。
だとしたら狙いは外へ出された人たちだ。
母さん、どうしよう。あの4人が危ない。
It wasn't surprising that Aunt Natsuhi remained unpleasantly silent. Even if this was all a trap by the culprit, even if the 4 who had been chased out of this room were in danger, it had nothing to do with the safety of the 4 people in here. And there was no way to prove the innocence of the 4 people we had kicked out. If we're willing to let them die, then we shouldn't leave this room no matter what. That way is safest. Just then, all of a sudden, the piercing sound of a phone rang through the room. It was the antique extension phone that was set on Grandfather's study desk. It had started ringing right as we began this conversation. It was only natural that we would think of it as an SOS from the elders we had kicked out. But then Aunt Natsuhi spoke.
どうして電話が
Yeah, because there's no power. Everything was cut out.
故障していて使えないはずなのに。
そんなことは関係ねえさ。もしマリアたちが助けを求める電話だったら。
そもそも電話の普通が犯人の工作によるものならば、この電話おそらく。
With that one sentence, the ring of the phone, which had sounded like a scream for help, started to sound like a ghastly summons from some unknown person. Aunt Natsuhi hesitated over whether to pick up the receiver.
トロ、おばさん、何かの理由で電話が回復したのかも。マリアちゃんたちからの緊急の電話の可能性もある。
そうだぜ。それに万一犯人からの電話だったら上等さ。話を聞いてやろうじゃねえか。それにどうせ電話だ。受話器越しに何をほざいたって痛くも痒くもないぜ。
おばさんが取らないなら俺が取るぜ。
私が取ります。もしもし。
I stretched out my hand to take the receiver, but Aunt Natsuhi picked it up first as if to say she had it under control. We all held our breath trying to figure out who the person on the other end of the phone was. But for a while, Aunt Natsuki just kept saying hello. A silent phone call. There's no way Maria and the others would do something so creepy. Which means, this phone call might have possibly, really. Natsuki stopped repeating hello and strained her ears, because she thought she heard something far away on the other end of the receiver. What was it?
これは歌。
歌って、何ですか、おばさん。
わかりません。電話の向こうでかすかに誰かが歌っているのが聞こえます。何のことやら。
ちょっと受話器を借りますぜ。もしもし。
I half forced the receiver from the stunned Aunt Natsuhi's hand and pressed it against my ear. At first, I didn't hear anything. But because I had been told about it beforehand, I noticed. Not in a quiet voice, but rather far away from the receiver. I could hear a girl singing a song. The voice sort of sounded like Maria's, but that just made the situation even more inexplicable. At the very least, the one who had made the phone call hadn't been Maria. After all, Maria was singing some song far away from the receiver. In that case, the one who made the phone call should have been Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, or Dr. Nanjo. And yet, they weren't saying anything. Why? For what reason? Who was the person who made this phone call?
おい、もしもし、誰だ、返事をしろ。歌ってるのはマリアなのか。返事をしてくれ。
何が起こってんだよ。どういうことだ。
わからねえ。一つ言えることは、多分これは罠で、そしてマリアが危険だってことだけだ。
Aunt Natsuki took the receiver again, but after calling into it several more times, she realized that she wasn't getting anywhere and hung up. She then dialed quickly and clucked her tongue. Oh, right, if the phones are back, we should be able to reach the police. But judging by her reaction, the outside line still wouldn't connect.
行こう。罠かもしれないことは分かってても、行かないわけにはいかない。
ああ、まったくだぜ。ジェシカと夏井おばさんはここにいてくれ。
When Anaki and I tried to dash out, Aunt Natsuki stopped us.
お待ちなさい。あなたたちだけに行かせるわけにはいきません。私も行きます。ジェシカはここで待ちなさい。
私だけのけ者かよ。冗談じゃない。私も行くぜ。
そうだな。その方がいいかもしれねえぜ。電話が俺たちをさらに分散させる狙いがあるってんなら、留守番を残すのは適当じゃねえ。
議論する暇も惜しい。みんなで行こう。
Aunt Natsuki raised the rifle high and took the lead. I needed a weapon myself as well. I found a 3-pronged candelabra, which looked like it could be used for some strange ritual, and armed myself with it. With the spikes it had to fit the candles on, although they were short, it was almost like a 3-pronged spear. Oh, here we go again. Out the room, into the fire. Then the four of us left the study. We left the study, which should have been the safest place inside the mansion. And so we had been lured out, despite the fact that we had barricaded ourselves in a safe, locked room. And perhaps we were even repeating exactly the same series of events that had led to grandfather disappearing from there.
Maria! どこにいるんだよ！返事をしろ！
I listened closely but didn't hear anything. The mansion was vast and the sound of the rain even noisier than before, as if the passing typhoon was making its last stand.
マリアちゃんは確か客間でテレビを見たいと言ってたよね。階下に降りてみよう。
そうですね。行ってみましょう。みんなは周りに用心して。
おい。
With Aunt Natsuhi in the center, her rifle readied and her finger on the trigger, we moved in a group, our backs together, checking our surroundings in all directions. As though the power of that magic circle designed to spread discord had brought it all into being, we had split up and furthermore had been dragged into dangerous territory. In other words, even now in this very moment, we were doing just what the culprit wanted us to do. This was now a strange space where it wouldn't be odd for anything to suddenly occur. Aunt Natsu nervously pointed the barrel of the gun at every dark spot and shadow. It felt like that motion was out of fear rather than caution. But the rifle held in her hand would surely also be our trump card that the killer was afraid of.
僕はずっと思ってたんだ。カノン君のように、胸にあのアイスピックを突き刺すことは不可能ではないと思う。でも、母さんたちのように、頭蓋骨を打ち抜いて眉間に突き立てるなんて、簡単なことじゃないと思うんだ。
犯人はそれだけバカ力ってことか。
多分、あのアイスピックを飛ばす、あるいは打ち込む射出機のような武器があるんだよ。人力だけで、あれだけ深々と刺突するには、あの絵は短すぎる。
いずれにせよ、頭蓋骨を打ち抜くほどに強力です。カノンの傷も肺にまで届いていたそうです。もし相手の姿を見ても、決して前に出ないように。私の後ろから出てはいけませんよ。
Just how sinister and frightening was this weapon that could shoot those creepy ice picks? And could I do anything to combat it with just this candlestick in my hand? In the first murder, the culprit had probably assaulted four of our parents at once as they discussed the inheritance problem in the dining hall. And we also had 4 people. Apparently, I wasn't the only person thinking this. George Aniki, Jessica, and of course, Aunt Natsuhi were stretching their senses to the utmost limit in the highest and worst state of tension, slowly advancing one step then another. Ah, what sinful people are we? A world as terrifying as this, and we pushed Maria and the rest right into the middle of it, just because of the seeds of doubt spread by that single letter. We finally reached the first floor. The parlor was just across the hall. When we listened carefully, we could hear it faintly. Maria's eerie singing voice. She wasn't singing naturally, as though she were in a good mood. She was singing mechanically, as if she was in a music class in school and had been ordered to sing. The song she was singing was just common folk song, one that everyone has probably sung in school at one time or another. But why that, in the middle of the night, alone, with all her heart, over and over? Why? When we had just left the study, we had called out in loud voices, asking Maria where she was. But this time, no one said even a single word. We hid our breath, and the sound of our footsteps heightened all of our senses, and examined everywhere around us to a neurotic degree, as we advanced each step. The door to the parlor was closed, but we could hear Maria's singing voice through it. Aunt Natsu put her hand on the handle of the doorknob. George Aniki stopped her.
扉は僕が開ける。夏日おばさんとバトラ君は武器を構えてて。
わかりました。気をつけて。
開けると同時に攻撃してくるかもしれないぜ。ジョージ兄さん、注意して。
うん。じゃあ、行くよ。
He tried to open it, but immediately felt the hard resistance of the lock. Aunt Natsu took the bundle of keys from her pocket and gave them to George. There were about 10 keys, and none of us had a clue which was which. Because of this, George had to fumble around loudly and test several of the keys. Since we had hidden our footsteps preparing to make a surprise attack on the room, this felt almost fatal. The whole time we could hear Maria's voice from the parlor singing the same song over and over. It was like a broken, crazy cassette tape. In the morning, we had been in that room the whole time. All of the frightening things had occurred outside that room. So we had convinced ourselves that even if nowhere else could be trusted, that room alone was safe. That baseless impression was quickly falling apart.
開いた。
ありがとう。ジョージ君とジェシカは後ろに下がって。
おばさん、一気に飛び込んで、左右に分かれよ。扉を開けてボサッとしてたら、例のアイスピックがど真ん中に飛んでくるかもしれねえぜ。
承知しています。いいですか？
やっぱ嫌だって言いてえな。
I readied myself. If they're gonna throw ice picks at me, we'll see how they like my candlestick.
行きます！
That's funny. Aunt Natsu and I rammed into the door as we flew into the parlor, splitting up left and right and searching the parlor for someone who might be waiting for us. But what our eyes laid upon was an altogether outlandish scene. The parlor was stained with blood. This place, where we had spent almost the entire day, where we had pressed in together to protect ourselves from some unknown malice, had become stained with fresh blood and had become an ocean of blood. Wow. On the floor lay Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, and Dr. Nanjo, their entire bodies stained bright red with blood. Well, we sent them to their deaths. That is fantastic. But the only way we could identify them was by their clothes. That was because... that's right. This is how this whole tragedy started. Their faces were all mashed up like Dad and the others in the storehouse, and you couldn't even tell where their eyes and noses were. It was like someone had vulgarly gobbled apart a tomato pot stew wrapped in a pie crust, all globby and sloppy. And that wasn't all. Their bodies had other wounds. They were those demon ice picks. They were in Genji-san's stomach, Dr. Nanjo's thigh. No, his knee. Yeah, it would be his knee. In the epitaph, the 6th twilight was the stomach. And on the 7th twilight, it said to gouge the knee. So after seeing one of them stuck near Kumasawa Bachan's calf, I couldn't help masochistically laughing. Yeah, of course it would be. On the 6th twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the 7th, gouge the knee. On the 8th, gouge the leg. Now even the 8th twilight is over. And the next one, the 9th twilight, what was it all again? Maria was there. Oh no. You better have a fish, Maria. And it better not be creepy. She was facing the far wall, standing stock still, completely alone. Facing away from this horrible scene, standing in front of the wall, singing her song over and over. Technically, she should be protected because we gave her the scorpion souvenir. There was nothing else in the room. Just the corpses of the three who had been brutally killed, and the receiver still off its hook, showing that it had been this room the call had come from. Just that, and Maria, her back to the scene, facing the wall, she kept on singing. We couldn't even scream at this bizarre scene. We could only stare shocked, our mouths hanging loosely open.
Maria!
Jessica called out to her, but Maria showed no reaction. Alone, she kept singing on and on. We had come here trying to save Maria from some approaching danger. So now that we have found her, we should have been running up to her, hugging her, joyous that she was safe. And yet, not one of us could do that. Everyone thought it, but they couldn't say it. After all, because that's right, it's crazy and yet, but no, it couldn't be.
Maria! 歌うのをやめろ! 聞いてるのか?
At some point, Aunt Natsu and I pointed our weapons at Maria's back. I yelled at Maria in a violent voice, but there was no reaction. She just kept singing. With the candlestick still readied, I ran up to her and forcefully, no, violently slammed my hand down on her shoulder. Then I pulled on her shoulder, forcing her to turn around. Maria's small body was quickly pulled down and fell. And as though unhappy about how her singing had been interrupted, she looked into my face with her usual expression. Even in this gruesome situation, she was just like normal.
Maria! これはどういうことなんだ? 誰がやった?
おお、ベアトリーチェ。
いい加減にしろ!
I threw the candlestick I had been holding against the wall. The violence of that reckless sound should have gone straight into Maria's heart, but her expression didn't change at all.
よすんだ、バトラ君。マリアちゃん、今度こそ君は3人を殺す犯人の顔を見たはずだよ。犯人は君に手紙を渡したというベアトリーチェなのかい？
おお、ベアトリーチェ。
ああ、ならこれで確定したぜ。19人目はいるんだよ。ベアトリーチェは実在するんだ。じゃあマリア、これくらいは教えてくれるよな。奴はこの3人をどうやって殺したんだ？何をどうやったらあんなむごい殺し方ができるんだ？
知らない。
知らねえってことはねえだろ。この部屋での出来事だぞ。歌を歌うのに夢中で気づかなかったとか言い出すんじゃねえだろうな。
Unless Beatrice told her to turn around so she wouldn't see the gruesome deaths that she was gonna cause.
落ち着いてバトラ君。マリアちゃん、僕とお話ししようね。
George Aniki, as he always did, crouched down next to Maria so that their eyes met and talked to her very kindly.
マリアちゃんはどうして壁を向いてお歌を歌っていたのかな。
ベアトリーチェがここでね、壁を向いてお歌をずっと歌っていなさいって言ったの。
See, I knew it. She didn't want her to witness the thing she was gonna do to the other three.
じゃあベアトリーチェがここへやってきたんだね。その時にはまだ源氏さんたちは生きていたんだよね。
みんなで客間に来て座ってた。
I mean, the most logical explanation you can come up with if it wasn't Beatrice would be her, obviously, but how could she have pulled that off? She's a little girl. I don't think any of the three adults would allow for that, even Kumasawa. I don't know.
源氏さんはちゃんと鍵をかけてたよ。
確かに鍵はかかってたが、じゃあどうやってベアトリーチェは客間に入ってきたってんだよ。
でもベアトリーチェは魔女だから鍵なんか関係ない。蝶々になって扉の隙間から通り抜けてきたんだよ。
That's what I figured.
はあ、冗談も休み休み言いやがる。そんなわけねえだろ。お前は何を言ってやがるんだ。
We were doing so well without that.
信じられないよね。だから言いたくなかった。どうせ言っても信じないもん。でもベアトリーチェは魔女なの。不思議な魔法で何でもできるの。だからベアトリーチェは鍵のかかった扉なんか全然関係ないんだよ。
それで現れたベアトリーチェは、そしてみんなはどうしたの。
ベアトリーチェは言ったよ。おじいさまの書斎は強力な力に守られていてどうしても入れない。だからあと3人の生贄はこの客間の4人の中から選ぶって。みんな嫌だって言ったよ。熊沢さんは嫌だってすごい言ってた。でもベアトリーチェは選ぶよ。そしたらね、ベアトリーチェはマリアはいいよって言ってくれたの。どうしてだと思う？バトラがマリアの安全を祈って念を込めてくれたあの火星の5の魔法陣のサソリのお守りがあったからだよ。だからその力でベアトリーチェはマリアにだけは何もできなかった。だから生贄はマリアじゃない3人に決まったの。そしたらね、ベアトリーチェはね、
さあさあ、壁に向かってお歌を歌って聞かせなさい。あなたはたくさんたくさんお歌を歌うから、何が起こっても何が聞こえても聞こえないわからない。さあさあ、楽しいお歌をわらわにたくさん聞かせておくれ。
だからマリアはずっとお歌を歌ってた。ずっと歌ってたんだよ。だから何も聞こえない、わからない。そしたらバトラたちがやってきたんだよ。
それを信じろってのか。バカにするんじゃねえぜ。
じゃあ今度は誰を疑う？マリアを疑う？マリアをこの場で殺してみる？そんなことしてもベアトリーチェはいなくならない。これで第8の番は終わったよ。ベアトリーチェは蘇る。
Man, Maria got so annoying, man.
ふざけんな。もうそんな話は金輪際ごめんだぜ。魔女なんているもんか。煙に巻かれてたまるか。俺は認めねえぞ。ベアトリーチェなんていいねえ。絶対に俺が認めねえ。だから存在なんかさせねえ。蘇りもさせねえ。伝説は永遠に伝説のままだ。この俺がそんなことを認めねえ。
よせよバトラ。マリアが殺したわけでも見殺しにしたわけでもない。ベアトリーチェが来てマリアは抵抗できず 従わざるを得なかっただけだぜ。
あれ夏日おばさんおばさんがいない。
あれ
母さん、どこ行ったの？
Alright guys, I'm gonna have to end the video here for today. Thank you all for watching. When we come back, we're gonna find out what happened to Aunt Natsuhi, and I'm not liking where this is going. I really am not. She was already protected once. I think her luck has just run out. But we'll find out guys, so thank you all for watching.